nationalism. So baby, throw away your scruples with the memories of your activism. Watch your weak resistance usher in a fucking cataclysm. Elect a bigot war pig and say you're gonna push him into pacifism. That's some bootlicker Stockholm hostage liberal masochism. Bootlicker Stockholm hostage liberal masochism. Baby, that's some fucking bootlicker Stockholm hostage liberal masochism. God, that's some fucking bootlicker Stockholm hostage liberal masochism. That's some fucking...
You know, sir, I like you much better with my glasses off.
I guess I was born with the curse of foresight, 'cause I knew Joe was only gonna represent the war side. And that said, I just came to fight. You could keep the ore flight. Save the surprise and the gasp when the shadow of the fascists have cast is on your doorstep in the glow of your porch light. Save the surprise when the grid goes down and we go underground to lick wounds in the gloom of a torchlight. While up in the sky, a blimp glides by with a sign like New Year's 2022. Brought to you jointly by Pfizer and Coors Light. While the centrists observe from a comfortable courtside, right in the thick of the action behind a partition. We're in a morbid position, a plague of evictions, born a comorbid condition of the cancer of wealth. I fantasize that I cancel myself, hands on your head, throw your best laid plans in the well. There are no more answers, questions go back on the shelf. All Joe's donors, a quick show of hands. How many of you sub to the Lockheed Martin OnlyFans? How many are loyalist patrons for the Raytheon Patreon? Occupy Iraq and send $1 million off into the great beyond. Cool yourself with the safety on. True to yourself in as much as you dutifully spew out a mucus of QAnon. You can't convince me the capital wasn't surrendered with every intention of digging us deeper down into the treacherous webbing of censorship, ebbing your speech and dissension so you can't hold Biden accountable. Not in his mentions and not in the streets. No to the end that Joe will defend the elite. Joe won't embarrass McConnell, but Joe's not embarrassed if all of your children are hungry and weak. Too hungry to speak. Too hungry to stand, they just lie at his feet. Joe is fresh out of empathy, fresh out of policy, but he'd love to know, what was your favorite ice cream flavor to eat? Back when you used to eat. I guess the road isn't rocky for people who thought we were free. They'll believe what they read, and Joe's here to lull them to sleep. Counting us down by the dozens, the culling of gullible sheep, led to the slaughter by media tyrants and government thieves. These are the leeches that stubbornly suck where there's nothing to bleed. These are the tumors that force us to crawl on our knees. This is the home of the brave. This is the land of the free. One was foreclosed in 08. One was condemned in 16. This is the home of the brave. This is the land of the free. One was foreclosed in 08. One was condemned in 16. This is the home of the brave. This is the land of the free. One was foreclosed in 08. One was condemned in 16. This is the home of the brave. This is the land of the free. One was foreclosed in 08. One was condemned in 16. This is the home of the brave. This is the land of the free. One was foreclosed in 08. One was condemned in 16. This is the home of the brave. This is the land of the free. One was foreclosed in 08. One was condemned in 16. This is the home of the brave. This is the land of the free. One was foreclosed in 08. One was condemned.
We're live. Should be.
All right. Welcome, everybody. It is December Indie News Network Roundtable stream. This is Indie. And we've got a bunch of family members here. Some of who've been here before, and we've got one member who you've never met on our stream, but I think she needs very little introduction. And I definitely want to get started talking to our friend Tar Reade. We're going to jump right into it. Of course, let me just say hi to everybody over here. We've got the Brady Bunch almost.
Hey everyone.
We've got 7 out of 9. 7 of 9, right? That's a Star Trek character. Yep.
Yes, it is.
Nice. See
I
that,
knew this
Lawrence?
would come in handy. I knew it would come in
Yeah.
handy.
It's also the name of the weed I'm smoking, but that's
Am I looking up or down?
one of the
Sideways.
two. He's in the middle, so you can look to your stage left. There you go. That's it.
What's up, Tar? Okay, so yeah, again, this is Indie News Network. This is our second stream as a group and as a team. We all decided as small streamers to kind of come together, collaborate efforts, and pool our resources, help each other, amplify each other's stuff, and we are all of like mind. There were several of us actually earlier last month that were at the General Strike Summit, that were at the Fred Hampton Leftist Now Revolutionary Blackout Network. That was really exciting. We're going to be doing a summit of our own coming up later this month that we're going to talk about later. But again, so we've got here everybody. We've got Reef. Say hi, Reef.
Hello.
What's up, Reef? And we've got Bess from Millennialsplaining. She's here in the house.
Hey, everyone.
And we've got Todd from BeTheChange. Everybody subscribe to BeTheChange.
Hello.
Hey, everybody. And Uncle Warren Extra. Booyah. Bulla, however you want to say it. And we've got Rob Durden of our political fight club, who loves to mix it up and tell some jokes and do some roasting and have some fiery takes.
Yeah, what's up, you beautiful people?
How you doing, everybody?
Aww.
And of course, again, we've got the woman who needs no introduction, our friend Tar Reade. I will give her a little bit of a flowery introduction as someone who's been talking with Tar for a couple of months. I did not know her until pretty recently, and we got connected through the online world, and just adore her courage, to her fight to come out and share this story and try to let the world know what we're dealing with. She has had her life torn upside down, unfortunately, and we're here to support and stand by her. She is currently writing a Substack at tarreade.substack.com, which you can find, as well as doing a new podcast for the RT network, as well as co-streaming here on our Indie News Network Substack. Again, I want to welcome, say hello to Tar Reade. Give her a warm welcome.
Hi.
Hey,
Love
thank
you.
Hi. Welcome.
Tar, I just want to give you a little bit of a chance to kind of talk about some of the things that you've been working on, some of the topics that you write about and do on your stream and on your podcast, to talk about some of the things that you saw with Indie News Network, maybe, and what the opportunity and why you joined us. I thought that might be a good way to get started.
Well, I love, what you're doing here with Indie News Network. And I feel, the boost both with the content and also just emotionally having a community with you all. And I've been on some of your podcasts, some of you here, and some of you, I guess, well, I'll have to find out, and we'll have to exchange guests and things like that. So I started writing, I wrote a book called Left Out When the Truth Doesn't Fit In. And that came out last year after the aftermath of coming forward about Joe Biden. And then I decided to do more writing. And so I've been writing op-eds pretty much weekly for about a year for RT. And then, they had me start the podcast. I named it The Politics of Survival. And then Avalon Claire, who is this amazing graphic artist, she is Avalon Claire Illustrated. She helped do my design for the podcast thing. And, it's taken off. So I've been doing the podcast about a month Every Friday, it'll be like every other Friday pretty much. And it's going really well. And I think having the Indie Left News network around me sort of also helps. And just, I just feel so connected. I love the content. It's where I go for news and to get kind of answers about things I have questions about. And I'm still, there's still news out there. You're having now, when you read the mainstream news, to sort through propaganda. And so it's good to have everyone here kind of with discerning and different voices. We all have different views, but yet there's this symmetry and what we're trying to do, which is really elevate the conversation, right? And expose the elites for what they're doing, because they've just engaged us in this class war. Systemic racism, systemic gender violence, and they're just using it, and we're all like, our country is just at war with itself, in other words. And maybe it always was, but it just seems that the wealth disparity has gotten to a point where it's simply not sustainable and people are suffering. And so it's not just about my personal story about what I went through with Biden, but it's also just the craven evil of the two-party system that is pretty much like melted into one party that's just oppressing our nation right now. Yep. So that's my 2 cents.
Absolutely. Well, and we appreciate that. Yeah. We like to call it, and I reference Whitney Webb when I call it the corporate uniparty, which is really what it's become. And the problem is that they've also got the mainstream media, or the corporate owned multi-billion-dollar mega media companies, the top 20, I call them, that control everything we pretty much see here, and all the gatekeeping and everything. So it's been a real struggle. I want everybody to out there in the audience to understand, as far as Tara has been suppressed on Twitter, she has been suppressed on Facebook. All of the powers that be seem to want to silence her and to keep her story quiet, because it does not fit with the narrative that Joe Biden is this benevolent grandfather who is the steward for the country. That is, the narrative that they're trying to put out there is absolutely insane. And again, just we stand 100% with you on a daily basis, and we're so happy to be there for you and to support you. And there is a huge community of people out there that do love you and do believe your story, and know that you would not do all of this and continue to pursue all of this if it weren't actually the case. I mean, who wants to actually go through all of this? Again, you're not getting wealthy off of any of this by any stretch. How many different circles don't even want to have a conversation, or don't want to talk to somebody because and you know what, that's why we've put this whole family. One of the things that we're doing in this family is we're going to help provide that community support. And it makes me so happy to hear you say that, because that's one of the reasons why I contacted everybody and I saw this opportunity, how we were all kind of on an island and doing our own thing, but kind of running in the same direction in a lot of ways, with different viewpoints and different perspectives, coming from different walks of life, and having different experiences that we can all benefit from. So Bess has been hanging out a bunch in we have a private Twitter chat among all the family. So Bess has been hanging out in there, but we haven't seen too many episodes or anything going on. I know you've got a lot with real life happening. Do we have some new episodes of Millennialsplaining coming up? Any appearances on different shows? What's happening in Bess's world for everybody out there that's been wondering?
First of all, I really like the idea of a show called Bess's World, so I'm gonna look into that. So, but
oh yeah.
That reminds you of Bobby's World. Remember that cartoon?
Yeah, with Howie Mandel, sure.
Bess's World.
Bess's World.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, so I've kind of been a little bit on hiatus. I have been getting some orders for the black roses that I've been selling for mutual aid. So I've been working on those. That's really exciting. If you're interested to find out more about that, or if you're a crafter or a musician or a writer, or if you even just like to share those things, please, follow Artists on Strike on Twitter, and reach out to me, and I'll add you to a DM group, and we'll get you involved. So I've been working on that, and I do have I still have about like 5 interviews at least that I'm sitting on, and I feel awful about it. Some of which I have one with Nick Cruz from Revolutionary Blackout, previously FHL, and it's from the day that Biden announced we were pulling out of Afghanistan. So that was like August or something. So I'm really, really backed up. So we're gonna have some of those come out soon. I had been working on moving, so that's part of the reason for it. But yeah, we're gonna have some more content out soon for sure. And hopefully, if I can get my stuff together, I'd like to do some Christmas caroling for mutual aid organizations. So, just little TikToks of me singing Christmas carols, and then having links to where you can donate.
That's a great idea. I'd love to hear those.
That's a great idea.
We'll see if I can get myself together for that. But if anyone else is musical, let's do it together. I know a few of you are for sure.
Get Jesse Jett.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, that's about it. Thanks for checking in with me.
And you did a couple of panels at the General Strike Summit. I know you did something on what was it, the Red Berets one, right? You were on that one.
Mm-hmm. I was on the Red Berets one because Laura Fielding is working with me on the Artists on Strike / Craft Strike idea, essentially. So we're working on it together. We've had a couple of discussions on my podcast about it together. So definitely go check that out if you want to hear more about the details of that. But I was on with them, and I was also on with JB Font on his disability panel. So lucky enough to be on twice. It was a great experience. Yeah.
That I watched that disability panel that had 10 people on it. That was one of the most insane, great people. It was a lot of fun to watch. It was just really, really busy. A panel that big, kind of like this, it's kind of hard to get everybody involved and engaged and having a good conversation. I thought that was actually done really well for considering the challenge that Jay had in front of him to get everyone. He had a lot of big personalities, get everyone talking in such a short time. It's hard. Yeah. Again, I'm just glad you're here and appreciate all your friendship and support. I know you're going to be at Luci. Luci's going to be jumping in later, Blue Moon Red Wine, and she's going to be leading a student debt strike summit that I want her to really talk about when she gets in. But I know you're going to be a part of that and working on some artwork and helping and volunteering for that. And this is the kind of collaboration that we want, that we were looking for. And again, just so excited to see it all coming to fruition. And actually, you mentioned JB Font's stream, and I know that this week and tomorrow night, our buddy Warren up there is going to be having a conversation with Jay. Jay's been all over. I think half the people on this network have already been on with Jay, if not more. And I think we got to round that out and get some more people or get him on some more shows. But Warren, talk a little bit about Extra Booyah, what you've been doing on the show. I know you've been releasing a bunch of clips. And you had some Rick Overton, some other funny people, some people you got coming up, but that'd be really cool to give some people a little sneak preview.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago had Rick on. Awesome, always great to pick a legend's brain. He's also what I consider one of the good guys too. He's somewhat of an activist too. He's very much concerned, much like we are, about how things are going down in the country. So it was great talking to him. We mostly talked about comedy, but hopefully I can get him back on again. We can do a little bit more about his journey, about where he comes from, and his beliefs, that sort of thing. Like you said, JB from the JB show is going to be on tomorrow night. I'm looking forward to him being on so he can give us the JB lean in.
Nice.
I think that's copyrighted. So I may owe him a few bucks for that. Sorry, JB, if you're watching.
I love the faces of JB, all the different faces. Like, I don't know if you've seen, he just started doing TikToks, and all he does is he reacts
does
with,
nothing
with those
just
faces.
face.
Just oh,
It's great.
he kills me with that stuff.
We're gonna have a blast. I believe Robert, you're gonna be on next week, right? Did you come to your senses and find something better to do? Is that right?
You don't have to threaten me with a good time.
Well, I'll threaten you with a good time, mister. As for the show, I've been kind of thanks to Reef. He's been helping me with some of the technical stuff. I've got a whole new program I'm using, so I'm a little bit nervous. I'm going to be launching that tomorrow night, and some more goodies. Hopefully by the beginning of the year, I'm going to go. I do once a week show on Thursdays, like you said, and I'll do the show and then I'll clip it up, just kind of do a clip a day for people. But hopefully by the 1st, I'm going to go to 2 shows a week because there's a lot of people out there. I want to get on the show, and once a week is just not enough time. So as a guy laying on his back said, things are looking up.
and we were all on the bitch stream, bitch giving. That was freaking hilarious. I don't know if everybody caught that with Misty.
That was a lot of fun.
That was a lot of fun.
Oh my goodness.
She probably just ended her stream now. Hi Misty, if you're watching, we love you. We appreciate you inviting us on. That was a blast. We were all cracking up after that one. Angel's hilarious. He was on that stream with us, and I think, what's up, Reef?
What's up, man?
Reef,
yeah, Angel's coming on. Angel's coming on my show this week, if I'm not mistaken. So, I was the one who booked it, so I shouldn't be mistaken. But I'm kind of like Warren. I do a show every Friday, 10 p.m. Eastern. Reefer After Dark. You should be able to catch it on Indy's channel and my channel. I think if you search for Reef Breland on YouTube, you can find that. But yeah, I had on Rob last week, right? That was a super fun time. Jesse Jet, week before that. Week before that I had Warren himself. So it's been super fun doing that. And I'm at the point now, Warren, where it's like, yep, I need more than one a week as well. If I'm gonna there's just too many people to bring on. So, there are a lot of people. And that's great. That's great for all of us, actually. So
yeah. And Reefer After Dark's a fun cut loose show. I cover news, and I'm engaged in stuff all day long in the crap, and you guys crack me up on that.
It's nice to just take that time to not deal with that for 5 minutes, we're all so saturated with all that stuff, which is good. There's a reason why we're doing it. It's so mentally draining all the time on everybody. So, especially when nothing is fucking happening ever. Why? Anyway, but it's the same old stuff every year. We're still fighting the same battles, but luckily weed exists. So, that's super, super nice. And if people want to put down on those Patreons and the Ko-fis, I got to make it to Amsterdam at least once. Getting out of the country, super useful, I hear. So, but yeah, it's super good time as far as that's concerned. I also co-host with Indy on our Saturday shows. How did we miss that? At midnight, if you're up that late, hopefully. That's East Coast time again. But yeah.
We're doing clips of that show too.
I was also on Luci's show not that long ago. Speaking of which,
that's right.
Who just joined recently when she gets her stuff connected. But we talked about gun control and gun laws of other countries and stuff. It was super interesting conversation. I enjoyed the hell out of it. So, but yeah, Indy, you got anything?
Cool, man. No, look, man. I talk to Reef pretty much all day long. Reef's also been going on a bunch of other shows. Again, he was also on the Bitch Giving show. He's been doing some more appearances, and again, I love the hell out of watching Reefer After Dark. It is, you guys are talking about smoking weed. You're talking about the different culture there, but also Reddit reacts and cringe stuff, and just wherever it goes, and just talking smack and
cute cat videos, all that fun stuff. So
we need to do all that stuff, and again, that's also co-streamed to Indie News Network. So you guys can check that out Friday nights at 10 o'clock here. I see Luci's camera finally made it on. Hi, Luci, welcome. And you are muted like everybody else. Rob's been sitting a while quiet and waiting patiently for everybody else to talk. So let's hear what's going on with Rob and down in the basement. I think you're in the basement, right?
Not right now. Usually when I do my show, I'm in the basement. Yeah, with my bookshelf behind me. Yeah. Yeah. So not too much. I was on Reefer After Dark. That was a lot of fun. We had like a really long ass stream, and it seemed like it was an hour long. It was like a 2.5 hour stream.
2.5 hours. Yeah, it's like pretty close to that. So, yep.
We had a good time. So I'm going on Uncle Warren's show. I was recently on Savage Joy's show for a stream. We're kind of thinking theoretically we might do a regular thing with Savage Joy, like where we're just going to basically make fun of politicians once or twice a month. So that should be fun. We had a great time together. That was a great episode. And then as far as the show goes, I got an episode written about Julian and how the Guardian has flubbed numerous stories about him to smear him along the way. So I got that written. I just have to put it on Rockfin. Nice. And beyond that, I mean, there's been a couple other shows that I might be on, but it's not set in stone. I've talked to Indy and Reef about those as well, but I'm not going to say anything quite yet. We'll just see how that pans out. Stay tuned. Man. I'm just doing my thing, trying to write a couple episodes a day. I got one more written. We'll see if I actually put it up right now. I haven't decided yet, but just doing my thing. Had a roast recently.
Speaking of Rockfin, I believe that INN is co-streaming to your Rockfin channel for the first time tonight. So we are live on Rockfin. We're live on my Odyssey channel, as well as to YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook. So we're on 6 networks live. This is really cool. Appreciate Rob sharing his channel and his platform with all of us, of course. I've been watching your show, your clips on Rockfin. For everyone who doesn't know, Rob puts some of his clips on Rockfin first, especially the spicier diss tracks that are pretty spicy. I would definitely get in there and listen. You can set up an account for free at rockfin.com/Robert Durden is his channel. So by all means, give him a shout and a subscribe over there. Like his videos over there. It's very similar to YouTube, only it's commercial free for anyone who watches the platform. And then they have like a premium membership that you can subscribe to. It's $10 a month, but you get premium access to everybody on the entire platform. And there's a ton of lefties there. So I'm actually a premium member and subscriber myself, and I watch a ton of the content. I like Max Blumenthal does an exclusive show there called Foreign Agents, and Alex Rubenstein does the Pro Democracy Pod, and you do your show. You do a couple of exclusive streams or exclusive shows on there, right, Rob? I know you.
Yeah, also, I keep a lot of my stuff that I know will get censored from YouTube. Like if I'm talking about COVID or Julian or like U.S. interference in foreign elections, usually that stuff's all Rockfin exclusive for me because they won't let me put that on YouTube.
Nice. And are you on Odyssey yet? Have you set up a channel for backing up your YouTube on Odyssey?
I did, and then I deleted the app. It was too difficult for me to use. I used just basically my iPhone for everything. So Odyssey was too tough to use. So I actually have a Rumble account too, but I have only uploaded, I think, 2 or 3 videos on Rumble so far. I'm going to start doing that more often here in the future.
Yeah, INN actually has a Rumble channel. I think that the first live stream was on there too. That's great. I'm on Rumble. I know Jimmy Dore's now on Rumble. Glenn Greenwald, some other people. So again, as many platforms as we can get our hands on and get eyeballs and get people watching and listening to this kind of messaging and agreeing with it, and or arguing with it and engaging with it, and let's have a conversation. But I think, and a lot of people say some of these platforms are right wing, which I think is hilarious because if we're not there, of course they're going to be right wing. So we've got to be there to balance them out. And again, happy to do that and represent and be part of all of those platforms, mostly to experience it and to be able to share with all of my streamers about what they can experience and what they can see when they're going on there, and some of the challenges that we have in building audiences over there, in responding to chat, for example, like when we're live right now on Rockfin, only Rob has access to seeing that chat and he has to log into their stuff. So it's solving those little technical challenges with the platforms themselves that we're going to work on and we'll work through. And as a network, they have more reason and more, we've got more clout for them to listen to us and have a conversation about that. So again, really excited about that. And again, love working with you, Rob, and just so excited that you're part of this. And it's everything that we were kind of talking about and dreaming about back in September, October, when we were first talking about this. So Todd's been sitting there and I don't know if he's eating chicken wings or it's dinner time.
What are you eating, dude?
What are we chowing on, bro, dude?
Eating some these homegrown persimmons.
Nice.
Persimmon.
Yeah.
Yum.
But yeah, like I have a few of these fruit trees out at my dad's property, and I probably got close to like 75 pounds of fruit off of just like 2 fruit trees. So I was able to share it with like a decent amount of people, which is really cool.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, and definitely something I want to start making more content about is about just growing food, like kind of important. Like, the Black Panthers talked about like survival pending revolution, and like part of surviving is being able to feed yourselves and feed your comrades and everybody. But yeah, so something I started, I think this is like week 8 of I make weekly updates about what I've eaten each day that was either homegrown or foraged, just to kind of challenge myself to consume as much of this stuff as possible and hopefully inspire other people, because there's a lot of different ways to grow food. It's just kind of figuring out what works in your context, grow things that you like, start small and kind of expand from there. And I was talking with one of my buddies about this, who got me into growing food maybe 8 or 9 years ago, and it's just something really positive, that you can kind of devote your time and energy to, and then you end up with just like this amazing food at the end of it. So
that was good.
Dude, all the produce I've seen from your stuff is like fantastic. Like I'd use it all the time if I had it available. I try to grow my stuff too, and it's just like it's super hard to keep up with and takes a lot, and I like learning how to do it better. That's my thing. So
yeah, for sure. What kind of stuff have you been trying to grow?
Tomatoes, peppers, all that stuff. We've got some fruit trees and stuff.
Nice.
We've got a ton here on the property, but like tomatoes are always a hassle. We got to redo all of it pretty much. I want to switch over at some point to aquaponics and things like that.
Okay.
So but yeah, it's getting that stuff right out the garden is just way better than not at this point. So Yeah,
and I follow Todd on Instagram, and the pictures of the stuff that he grows, and like he picks these vegetables that it literally looks like they're coming out of a magazine, or it's like in a supermarket ad for like organically grown whatever, and they're like the most beautiful ripe red tomatoes, and the absolutely incredible stuff that I've seen you grow. And cucumbers, and I mean, I've tons of different things on your property, and I love how you're doing that, and that you involve your family. I saw that you baked bread the other day, right?
Yeah, 11-year-old helped out with that. She was super proud of herself.
Yeah, that was amazing. Yeah, so and for everyone to follow Todd, it's kind of funny. I don't know if we need to change your name on Insta, or everybody knows what it is at this point. But it's kind of funny. His username is @username 1492.
I kind of feel like you should keep it just for people to like.
it's kind of a troll. It's kind of funny, like, yeah, but it's like, he got assigned a username when he first went on. He was the 1492nd user, and that was it, right?
Well, actually, I think I picked that one out myself for some reason, but yeah.
Oh, did you? That's really funny. If so, I love that. So everyone follow at username 1492. You get unbelievable great vegetable pics, and pictures of him out in the garden and family stuff, and it's, again, I've been following your stuff for about 5-6 months since you started live streaming. Love the content. Also some pretty base takes, pretty lefty takes, pretty spicy takes. Sitting behind the wheel, I remember one, I was like, damn, he's pretty damn upset, like. It's like, this nice guy in the garden, and he's sitting there, he's screaming, he's raging. I'm like, oh, I love it. He's freaking channeling everything. It's amazing. So yeah, again, and Todd's great. You're always putting videos out quickly. I notice you've got a quick reaction to stuff when you're getting out there. I love seeing that. And again, any help that we can provide, always follow Todd on Twitter at BeTheChange.YT, that that he's on YouTube at BeTheChange.YT. And it's hard to find. It's really weird. If you search BeTheChange, which is all one word, he's like the 4th or 5th channel that actually shows up under the words BeTheChange. But look for him. He's actually wearing, I think, a bicycle helmet in your profile pic, right? So look for it there if you want to find him on Twitter, on YouTube. Definitely follow that channel. He's worth a follow, and his videos are great. I love watching them. I see Luci from Blue Moon Red Wine is here, and welcome and hi. And she's just grabbing some dinner, so I don't know if you want to hold on a second. You're muted. Sorry.
Maybe it's the food. Maybe the food's
maybe it
I'm
is.
sorry, I was just hungry.
No, you're allowed to be hungry, and you're allowed to take a bite. So it's all good. I was holding off on talking about the Student Debt Strike Summit because there's so much that you've been doing to organize it. I haven't really talked about it at all, other than to mention that Bess was doing some artwork for it, but I really wanted to give you the floor and let you talk about it to everybody who's watching, and we'll do a nice clip of it so that you'll be able to share that around, and we'll be able to get more people engaged, involved, and signing up to watch it live on Indie News Network on December 11th. So Luci, I'm letting you have the floor. It's all yours.
Okay, sure. My main reason for planning this was really that I personally don't want to start making payments in January, and there's no motivation like self-interest. I started asking around, and it turns out a lot of people don't want to start making payments in January. I just sent a message out, and people started volunteering to talk, and we're gonna have, like, so far it seems like it's gonna be at least 5 to 6 hours long. There's gonna be like an hour just with like an introduction with different debt stories. Then there's gonna be two MMT experts to talk about the economic case for student debt cancellation. And then there's going to be an organizer that's going to come on, and he's going to share a petition that over 1 million people have signed, that we'd like to get more people to sign, because 43 million people in the United States have student debt. And I don't know what the exact percentage is, but it's like almost over half that aren't paying it right now. And then there's going to be 3 independent politicians that are going to talk about whether they're going to do anything for student debt relief. And then there's going to be, hopefully at the end, I'm not sure exactly how we're going to end it, but hopefully at the, there's going to be a union, a debt union, like not the leader of the debt union, but members from the debt union talk about what a debt union is, and whether you should join one. And then there's going to be like at the very end, hopefully, like what I wanted to end on was kind of a pledge, which is like, if you, because people think that student debt, you know, if you didn't go to college, for example, it's like, you know, not important to you. Or if you don't have any, it's not an important issue to you. So the way I wanted to end it was like, you know, just to put the question out there, like if you could eliminate your student debt, how much money could you actually donate to general strike funds? And then we're gonna see, you know, like if people can actually donate more than you think, because it's something that could really improve the economy and help people like focus on something other than themselves and their own, you know, sordid situation. So that's it for the student debt summit. I basically like spending most of my time scheduling that. I'm doing a few episodes here and there, but just like when I get annoyed with something, nothing really that I'm putting too much time into. I really hope people show up. It's going to be on December 11th. That's a Saturday, from 12 to 6. So yeah, I hope you guys come watch it, and you know, please come support. And it's also going to be shared with the 1 million people that signed the student debt cancellation petition. So I'm really excited about it.
That's huge, and it's such an important thing that you're doing. I know that you were kind of inspired to say, how come nobody's really talking about this issue, and you just decided to say, you know what, if nobody else is going to do it, I'm going to start doing it. And again, have you
well, I didn't want to spend my money. That's
it's all self-motivated, but still, you know, you realize that it's not just you that's doing that, and that there's a lot of people out there like you, and you're willing to take the reins and take that initiative, and that's freaking it's so cool. Again, I've seen you do some organizing around that, and bringing people together, and holding you know, a couple of meetings, and I'm excited to see what this is going to be. I also understand the opportunity costs, and I think that's what you're talking about, is what people could potentially be doing with the money that they're then putting back into the education that every other country around the world is providing to their citizens at no or minimal charge. And it is starting the youth of our country in a race with one leg tied behind our backs. You know, it's to cross over a couple of cliches, but
and not just the youth, a lot of the organizers for this, like they started during Occupy, and a lot of them, the original like organizers, some of the groups became stagnant and aren't really doing anything anymore, but a lot of them are actually in their 60s. So student debt has been around for a while, and it's actually keeping a lot of people from like a decent retirement.
Right, exactly. I mean, it's keeping them working longer. They're able to save less for retirement. They're not able to invest. They're not able to invest in housing and in real estate potentially, which could potentially support their retirement as well. And it keeps them dependent on the welfare, on the Social Security state that much more for their income and for their livelihood. Again, just remember that a lot of the student debt can be eliminated with the signature of Joe Biden's pen. But he would have to, of course, go against his biggest benefactors, which are the big banks and credit card companies, in order to do so.
That was his campaign promise. That's what they ran on.
Right. They were going to eliminate, what was it, $50,000 of student debt, which became
$10,000. They were going to eliminate student debt and make free college, and then it lowered to 50,000, and now it's nothing. Now I think the only they do give breaks to people that have some circumstances with disabled students, a portion, but that's it. And I mean, like I went to law school and stuff. I have almost a quarter of it's $200,000 of student debt, and I had a partial scholarship. And one of the things New York Times shamed me about in one of the articles was that I was too poor to afford law books. Well, law books are like 300 to 500 a piece back then in 2003 and 2 and 1 when I was going to law school.
Wow.
I mean, it's not even just it's the student loan debt, but it's also like being able to pay for books. It's all a scam. It's just a scam for students. And I feel bad for that. Nothing's improved. I mean, I graduated in 04 and nothing's gotten better in 2021.
Yeah, I owe 299,000 for my doctorate, and I've never actually been able to pay the interest on those loans. And I worked as a chiropractor for 5 years, never even been able to afford the interest.
Right.
You know.
So and it keeps you from getting good credit, right? I mean, I can't get credit. I can't even get a credit card. Yeah, I can't.
Well, yep. I own nothing of value. They can come after me if they want. I'm a holdout for at least for like over a year now.
But do we have to call you doctor? Like that's the thing, right?
Yeah.
Well, Rob, you know what? You and I together, we could almost be a negative millionaire, an anti-millionaire.
I know, right? What are you gonna do? And I didn't retake any classes. I graduated top of my class. I owe like near 300,000 right now, like 299.
Crazy.
I think. Yeah, and I think the most I've ever been paid in a year is just like 45K, which isn't really enough to pay on 5, 6, 7% interest on these loans. A lot of them have to be private at that amount. So like you're in the way I do it now is whenever they send me something in the mail, I throw it right in the garbage.
There you
like
go.
You can come get that money from my cold dead fingers.
And Biden eliminated the ability to, if you wanted to file bankruptcy, he eliminated that ability.
Exactly. With the bank.
What year was that? I forget what year someone.
Well, I actually have like some juicy insider information on how the Obama administration kind of purposefully slowed down the movement for student debt cancellation.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I can't share too much of it. Basically, what happened, basically what happened, and I won't say like who was involved or anything, was that Obama at the time, he lived next to Zuckerberg. And there were like, groups everywhere like proliferating about like the student debt cancellation issue, and they were like, together with the Occupy movement and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But he got Zuck to like shut down these groups. So that's what happened, like right around Occupy, and then like nobody really realized it. And then, it's like the same thing that happens on Twitter with all of these people getting shut down. It's like, yes, you can grow your audience again, but like how much work is that? And then sometimes it just like slows things down enough at a pivotal moment where it's just like too hard to get that steam. And that's exactly the point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, again, which is why we try to be platform independent, or we try to be everywhere. I've gotten a lot of people. I've moved on to Telegram because it's a more secure platform. It's more peer-to-peer, and they actually have the ability for pages to be able to have streamers kind of put out messaging to their audience and have more of a one-to-one connection, almost like sending a text message. I see Telegram is very similar to a text messaging platform, just independent of your carrier, which is really cool.
Yeah, I use Telegram. It is more secure.
Mm-hmm.
But
So I see Stephanie's thing says she's away. If she's there, I would say hi, but I don't know if she's there. Oh, good. Hi, Stephanie. Okay, so Stephanie is a super volunteer, and she's an awesome person. She and I were on a stream together, gosh, earlier this summer on Tommy Nation's very first ever live stream, which was a lot of fun, and that's where we met.
Yes, and I do know what I'm talking about. Honestly, I'm very good with my facts and with my news stuff and stuff like that. I've done a couple other live streams, and I'm doing one for KRDT Media Friday.
Yeah, you're doing KRTD News with Shane. Is that what you're doing,
Yep.
co-hosting?
Yes, sir. I'm excited.
Awesome. If Shane's in the chat, hello, Shane. We're friend of the show, friend of the network. But Stephanie also has been working with Dan Whitfield, correct?
Yes, for his campaign.
Right.
Yes.
So Dan's running for Senate in Arkansas in
Yes.
2022, correct?
Yes, against Senator John Bozeman.
Against John Bozeman. Okay, who's a corrupt corporatist Republican in a deep red state, of course.
Yes. Arkansas.
And yep. So Stephanie has a really interesting perspective, being blue in a deep red state, and working for somebody who is really fighting against the narrative and against the establishment out there, but doing it in a really in a professional way. And again, I got a chance to meet Dan, as did Reef, for the U.S. Solutions Summit. He was one of our guests, and you know,
got to interview him. Yep.
And hear some of his views as somebody who went up against the establishment and got no support from the Democratic Party, but ran as a Democrat. So I loved hearing that perspective. I hope he would be getting more support in 2022. I don't know if
there's always third party Dan.
Right, there's always third party Dan, but is there going to be
he
a
tried
primary?
that.
Yeah,
he tried the third party, and the Democrats came, and he tried the independent party, and they came, and he had all the signatures he needed that they told him he needed. He did everything he was supposed to, and then they go back and change the numbers on him, on the amount of signatures that he needed, and gave him such a short amount of time, you know, just enough time not to be able to get it done.
Yeah, it's like what they did to the Greens in Pennsylvania, and I think they did it to them in Wisconsin as well. They keep shifting,
They took him off the
shifting the
ballot.
goalposts, right?
Mhm.
So
They can take that
Steph,
goalpost completely off the
And
field.
the group that does that is Occupy
Yes, sir.
Democrats. They're the ones who kind of infiltrated the Medicare for all and all of that. But if you see anybody with Occupy Democrats on their profile, watch out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So watch out for
Yeah.
Occupy Democrats.
Occupy Democrat sounds like an oxymoron.
they put out
That's
a
great.
lot of like
That's like
meaty stuff.
irony,
like
and
an
it's
occupying
like pure
force, maybe.
form.
Where I find them is all over Facebook. I find that a lot of Occupy Democrat stuff ends up on Facebook for whatever reason, in a lot of the groups that were
Yeah, they're going after Jill Stein right now, the Green Party.
How? Why do these people not focus on the important issues going on right now, like healthcare, pandemic, people dying? So we
Rent
need
relief.
healthcare, debt relief, just all these things people are overlooking. They're wanting to talk about the Maxwell lady,
Well,
and
I mean,
just all these.
Jill Stein had lunch with Putin. Like,
well, dude, the reason
No, I
they go
think she
after
had
Jill-
poutine for lunch.
Yes,
Wasn't that like,
sorry,
she had
that's-
like some
that's-
sort of.
I got my
that was the
T-shirt.
other
I think
one.
so.
Your laddie.
Love poutine. That's so good.
The reason they go after Jill Stein is because she actually ran a very successful Green Party run, and she's actually a very charismatic and smart lady. So she has a target. She has a target
not
on
very
her back
charismatic.
because she is a perceived threat to the duopoly. That, let's be clear, that's the reason they go after Jill Stein so hard.
Yeah, she's really good. She's really good at what she does.
not,
mean,
not
I
as
voted for
charismatic
her.
as,
is she
as
gonna run
Jesse,
again, or
but
is she over it?
I hope
I
she's
think
over it.
I think she's over it.
Can't
I'm
blame her.
sorry. I met her in person and talked to her, and she truly is a very impersonable person.
Really?
Yeah,
sense.
I still have frostbite.
Oh,
Jill
did you?
Stein, yes.
Mm.
Wow.
Yeah, and all she does is love to hear herself talk. Some
Well-
friends of mine who were at Standing Rock were there with her and said all she did the whole time she was there was stay in like the cabin or wherever, and came out for photo ops, basically.
Sorry to hear that. She did well in the percentages though. I think she pulled like 6%, something like
Yeah.
that, which
Yeah.
is a pretty big. So that's still,
She
regardless
did
of
get
her.
6.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, what she
Regardless of
does
like
is-
her personal politics or however she is as a person, she did
Yeah.
do well enough as a third party to be a perceived threat to the duopoly.
And she
which
can
is why
always
they go after her.
she can always come on my
Yeah.
show, and we'll fix those personality issues with some weed, and that should be good.
Yeah,
Right.
that
know.
6% is the key to
Bet
a
you
lot
could,
of it.
Reef.
Yeah, I know, right? I'll work on it.
Because if we
Uh,
could get to that 6%, that means that people have to
You have
listen
to deal
us
with
on
us.
both sides. They have
Yeah.
to.
I mean, of course,
because
you
they
know,
can't win without their vote, without our vote at that point.
better
Unless-
voting
Exactly.
systems whenever they're available for you to support. That's also, there's a couple of them, not just ranked choice. People should look into them.
hand marked,
super-
hand counted paper
yeah.
ballots. That's the key.
That would also be
Right
helpful.
there, definitely.
Yeah. And just
No,
holding those systems accountable, like when they do those kind of things to you, if you're running, say what's happening. People want to know what's happening,
Yeah.
So, but yeah, anyway.
People want the
Hey,
truth.
I had a question for you all regarding Twitter. So, Jack Dorsey, the news this week was that he stepped down,
Yeah,
and I read Glenn Greenwald's piece on it, and I've been kind of watching it, and
Oh,
I'm
poor
kind of,
thing.
and I wanted to kind of throw this out there and see what you all thought, but remember I shared with you that the DOJ pulled all my social media under sealed warrants. And the only company that contacted me was Twitter, and they had to go into court, and they spent literally thousands of dollars to make a motion because it was rejected. They were subpoenaed 3 times, they rejected it, or 5 times, and they rejected all 5, and then finally went to court to get permission to just tell me this was happening. So they didn't tell me why. I still don't know what the case is. I may never know. But bottom line is, they were the only social media company that did. So I can't stand the troll farms, and I get really annoyed with the suppression. But at the same time, they did tell me, and I wouldn't have known because none of the other companies like Instagram or Facebook, of course, none of them let me know. But I know it happened in Gmail. They told me that it did. So, Twitter did. So what do you guys think? Do you think Jack Dorsey's departure is a bad sign, kind of like what we're hearing from Tahtahme and from others? Or do you think, I don't know, it's a different...
Could be a bit of
or it'll just
both,
stay the same?
right? Like it
I think
depends on, is he leaving or is he forced to leave? That's part of it, right?
Oh, he
Like,
resigned. I think
Resigned.
he just chose to leave.
It's his
I think
company.
He just said enough was enough.
Resigned.
Isn't he also the CEO of Square still? I believe
think.
he was the only person to be a dual CEO of multiple Fortune 500 companies simultaneously. I
Yeah.
don't know if he resigned from Square also. I think that he might have just been fed up, with the limelight and the amount of pressure of having to maintain that level of,
Yeah.
segmentation in his head, where he wanted to do a little bit more focus. Plus, look at all the heat that's going on about Twitter. It's also, we know, heavily involved. The intelligence community has agents all over this platform, and they have to figure out a way to police for all of that. You've got dealing with medical misinformation and having to deal with all that. And I think he just realized that this isn't really necessarily the platform that he was looking to manage and maintain. And he got it to a level that he wanted to get it to, and let the shareholders and the new people that have come in and taken over and are running it now kind of take it from here. And that was how I saw it. I could be completely off and naive about why he's doing it. I also know that he has, deep ties with people in the State Department, deep ties with people, I'm sure, in intelligence, because of that revolving door between government and private industry, especially in the Fortune 500 C-level executives. There's a lot of influence, there's a lot of cross-pollination, and I'm sure he's going to end up on the boards of some companies and probably involved in funding some think tanks, and maybe behind the scenes advising campaigns or advising certain businesses or who knows what about digital strategy. I think that there's a lot of things that he could potentially do, and was looking at what's next for him.
Well, I think wasn't he on with he went on, I think, Rogan with Tim Pool, didn't he, at one point?
Did he?
Dorsey or whatever. I think there's an episode of him and I'm trying to remember this other lady that they were both involved with Twitter to some degree. So I don't remember. I remember that episode being Tim Pool being pretty pushy towards them, and you know,
the stuff that I've
go ahead.
The stuff that I've seen is that the replacement for Dorsey is actually a little bit more anti-free speech, and I just found it in a 2020 interview with the MIT Technology Review. His name is Parag Agrawal.
Gotcha.
He said that Twitter would focus, quote, less on thinking about free speech and more about thinking about how times have changed. So I remember seeing that on Twitter, and that was problematic that he said that. And that's the meme I just looked up real quick. So that sounds alarm bells for me. Now, in Jack Dorsey, he actually did a better job at trying to hold up people's First Amendment rights on Twitter than most other of these social media platforms have. Yeah. But if you guys remember correctly, Twitter was also, it hasn't been great either, because if you remember, the New York Post article about Hunter Biden's emails was completely suppressed, and the New York Post was completely blocked going into the Biden-Trump election. So Twitter was never good, but it was the best that we had. And it seems if this is true, and this guy actually believes that, what he said, I think this is probably a step backwards. And I worry a little bit about censorship on Twitter. It reminds
me of the Reddit guy who left, right? Originally, who was fairly free speech, like oriented, and then it switched over to other people, and now it's whatever advertisers say goes.
And then it just begs the question, is like, so why is Jack doing it now? It almost like, and I don't want to get too conspiratorial, but it's like, what leverage is being used? Is he being like asked to step down? Like, who knows exactly? Because we know that social media crackdown is the main thing right now, with all the like Frances Haugen nonsense, where she's like a whistleblower that wants more censorship on Facebook, because there's so much like mean stuff on there and aggressive stuff and fringe content. So it begs the question.
Yeah. And the mean stuff on there is actually like coming from the political troll farms that are paid for. And it's usually,
Correct the Record was started and all that. Yeah.
It's political troll farms. Yeah.
But those troll farms will never be subject to those same fringe algorithms. So this in a way is like, I've talked about this on my show. It feels like they're trying to make the internet like nerfed for the mainstream media to like transition to a new paradigm. And they know that they can't right now because, like, for instance, they just removed the dislike button on YouTube, right? Why did they do that? Because the people won't allow, Stuart Varney to go onto YouTube and do well. They'll ratio them into oblivion. All these people they don't transition well. The only people that really watch them are like basically like over the age of 65 or 70. So they realize that they need to transition online, but their content sucks so bad that they'll just get destroyed by the people. So this just seems like another step where they're trying to like nerf the internet so that they can transition onto it and they don't get like ratioed into oblivion and they can still remain relevant. This is death throes of the mainstream media.
It's like they think taking away dislikes mean we won't dislike it. Like, we're all gonna not watch. Like, we're still not watching.
Exactly right. But like I said, they're just grasping at straws right now.
Yeah,
right. But what's going on also is that YouTube doesn't want the networks to see how badly they're getting ratioed, because they don't want to spend their money on YouTube with people that aren't going to enjoy and consume and keep watching their content. So it's not even that they're necessarily getting rid of the dislike button. They're just hiding, showing people how many dislikes there are and just how bad that ratio is. They're giving you the ability to hit the dislike button and to show your displeasure. What I think they're not doing is they're not really showing it to everybody else, so they don't get to see it. And I think that some people just kind of participate in ratio parties sometimes, because they're like, they start watching this like, ooh, look at that ratio. Damn, I'm going to hit that too. Let's contribute to that.
That's true. But good content creators, every good content creator I know is vehemently against getting rid of the dislike ratio, because they see their ratios as like a badge of, well, I'm doing well and everybody can see it. And they don't, like, you're right. They don't take away your ability to dislike it. They just show the public dislikes. But if you guys watched the video that they put out, YouTube put out about getting rid of the dislikes had a 96% dislike ratio before they got rid of it. So like basically no one was for it. No one was for it. And no good content creator that I know out there is worried about pile-ons like that because they don't have to be. They're worried about like Sean Hannity and Rachel Maddow not being able to transition well in the future. That's what they're worried about. Not those specific people, but just like in general, mainstream media does not translate well to the young and online audience.
And when Chris Cuomo tries to come back.
Yeah, oh, dude, he get ratioed into.
I don't think he'll be coming back, guys.
He's gonna try. Those guys are megalomaniacs. They're coming back.
Well, again, he did the bidding of the establishment, so he will forever have a position somewhere.
Yeah, he'll be on Fox next.
Warren.
Oh God, look at Tulsi.
Warren, go, Warren.
Well, they did that with Brian Williams too. Remember, he was lying about getting bombed or getting shot at, and then he went away for a little bit, and then they stuck him back at 11 o'clock.
And he's now
the thing about the dislikes, though, there's good news. If you have like a Chrome browser, if you use Brave or something like that, there's an extension you can put in there. You can put an extension in there, and it'll show you the dislikes again. So
oh, cool.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
it's not Google.
Okay.
It's not entirely accurate.
Okay. Or just
it'll show all the it extrapolates certain data from the API, and I think it has to estimate, so it's not like perfect. Right, but apparently it's able to get some of that back, right? So I don't know how accurate it actually is, but there is a thing. I can find that link and post it in chat somewhere.
Well, so, I'm currently using it right now, and this show does not have any dislikes, so I'm saying it's running at 100%.
Perfect.
I'm a little biased.
Someone's gonna have to go in there. I'm gonna have to go in there now and dislike the stream.
No, don't do it. No.
I was gonna say I am about to have to head out myself. I have to wake up super early, and it's been a long day, and this week's not gonna get any easier. So
glad to have you part of the network, and glad you were able to make it tonight. And
Thank
good
you.
to see you, and all your help is greatly appreciated. Steph's actually been helping post some links for the Indie News Substack Leftist.today over to some Facebook groups to see if we can get some more traffic there.
And I got Twitter too. I'm sending it to Twitter too. I don't have a Twitch account, so I don't even know how the shit that works. So I don't even know how the fuck.
We can help you out.
We'll get you hooked up with all that stuff. Reef and I, we can work on that in Discord.
Please.
I think you have to have a blood sacrifice to get on Twitch. I'm not quite sure though.
Oh shit! I need to find a virgin. Where's Shane at? No, I'm just teasing.
Technical difficulties. We'll be right back.
That was a joke. No, not against me.
I like her a
We
lot.
love you. Get up. Take care.
No, don't hold back. Yeah, say what you mean.
I love it. That's awesome. This is gonna become a roast. We love it.
Terrible.
That's awesome. We love it. We keep the ones we love.
I wish I had a margarita because there's plenty of salt here tonight. You know what I mean? I got a little right around the rim. Oh, so good.
Awesome thought. Yeah.
So Luci got some heat for calling the guy who's challenging AOC from the right Urkel, which is the funniest thing I saw all week.
Oh, really?
Did I do that?
Did I do that?
Well, you got to disrespect Urkel, man. He was like,
dude, mad respect to Urkel. Like,
right? He's OG now.
He's OG.
Is he
OG
still?
Urkel.
I wonder what he looks like now. I'm really curious.
Don't
He
you
looks like Urkel, but he's just taller. He's a little more older.
Just taller and
Yeah, if you put Urkel in a microwave for about 30 seconds, this is what he looks like now. So.
Right?
Remember that? Yeah, they had the machine that made him hot. That was like...
Yeah. I remember that episode. Yeah.
Uncle Warren. Uncle Warren. Why do you look like? Almost look like Hulk Hogan.
We almost look like Hulk Hogan. Well, there's some stories, but Hulk Hogan doesn't want to be.
Nice. Yeah, brother.
Yeah, brother.
And a
I don't know what you're talking about, brother.
Perfect.
That's amazing.
He's
Loving it.
Love you.
It's this It's this booze that's making me red face. So
what do you mean?
Okay,
It would
well,
never.
before I get off of here, guys, I'm
there's
going
Shane.
to be co-hosting for the news with Shane Friday
Nice.
night
cool.
at KR.
TD.
DD Media.
Yep.
I'm like KRDT or
It took us a
KRDT.
minute.
KRTD, and then
Yeah.
Okay.
is that going to be what 6 p.m. Eastern on Friday night?
I think he said 5:30.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll send it to you. I'll send
We'll put
it
out
to
some
you.
stuff.
Exactly.
We'll find it.
Go subscribe to KRTD Media, and you'll get the alert when they go live for
Yep.
that. And go check out Steph live on the show. So that'll be a lot of fun.
Please do, and give me any input. And give me input because this will be my 3rd live stream, and I use an avatar, so I'm not doing this right here like I am now, trying to make sure I look
using
okay,
an avatar. Who would ever use an avatar to go on?
I don't know.
And if
Seriously.
WrestleMania comes to your town, I'll make sure to get you some tickets. Okay. I know people. Yeah,
Even if just wrestling came here, like WWE Raw or SmackDown, I'd be happy. I know it's fake. Yes, people. I know it's scripted, but man, it's a lot of beautiful men and women.
I can wrestle some random local if you want. If you get somebody that's I got kind of like a slip disc thing, so we can't really do like the ladders and the table smashing and stuff like that. We could maybe do CGI or something. We could do that.
We could do it that way.
All right.
So now all right. Well,
Bye,
Steph.
Steph.
Bye, Steph. Tara,
Bye,
I know you
guys.
had you have a new podcast episode coming out. Was it Friday?
Yeah, Friday it comes out, and it's going to be with Collin Moulton. Speaking of wrestling, it's different than wrestling. He does jiu-jitsu, but Collin is a comedian. He was on Showtime, and he has a podcast called Post Roll Podcast.
Okay.
And he's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, and we talk about that. We talk about he's my brother, so he was a comedian and very successful.
He's on that tuck belt
before I was public, and then when all that stuff happened, he got really hammered by media, by Newsweek, and they were calling him a liar or whatever. But he was very young when I worked for Biden. He remembered what happened. He just told the truth. And Washington Post, New York Times, Newsweek, they just went after him. And it was awful, as they did me. So we kind of talked about that a little, but mostly we just have a lot of fun and talk. And he brought up a couple things that might be a little, spicy. We'll see. He has his opinions about certain things. So I don't know. Like he even mentioned, I even hate to say the word COVID because it automatically gets you deplatformed if you say anything.
Right.
But yeah. So, but it's very lighthearted. It's very, and we had a lot of fun, and he gives me a hard time. Like during the podcast, he said something like, I was changing subjects, and he's like, "Oh, nice segue, Tara," and he's like making fun of my segue, and it was just fun.
Funny.
But it's interesting because my bro has this huge community with Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and I know Elias would. I know he should talk to Elias, and they should talk to each other and he loves comedy. So wherever he goes and performs, he'll find his jiu-jitsu bros and he'll go roll. Yeah. And yeah, so it's pretty cool. I love the community, and I love the upliftment of their and there's some women involved, more and more women getting involved now. So that's good.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan.
A big fan of the MMA.
Big fan of it. And jiu-jitsu itself, I think if you watch Rogan enough, you just have to learn it. It's part of the thing. It's like when Oprah gives you a new car, you're gonna drive it. That's and Rogan's just male Oprah, so that's
I do
pretty
wish
much.
Reef lived closer to me so he could teach me.
Yeah, there's definitely spots near you, guaranteed. The whole community.
You can teach her an arm bar.
Yeah, arm bars are easy. Trust me, you can figure out plenty online. Especially if you've got someone willing to do stuff. No, Florida, South.
Florida.
Yep.
Damn.
But I've been near you a couple of times, so
I was
But
gonna say if you were like closer.
yeah, I mean, you know, me and
Do
Elias
that
definitely talk
then.
jujitsu all the time and all that stuff. So, you know, there's a bunch of political stuff with that too. So, you know, when the head of the Gracie family supports Bolsonaro, right? You know, a guy who won
I
both
know.
UFC 1 and 2. Like,
Yeah.
I love Hoist for what you did, but that's weird, bro. You know,
Yeah.
like there's so many, like the whole, you think about wealth inequality in Brazil in the 20s and 30s and 40s, right? You know, there's a couple of you know, Germans involved over there, if I'm not mistaken. Like, it's a whole story and process to that. Hopefully we start doing some stuff on that on this network too. I love doing that. But yeah, you bros welcome on my show anytime. So
I'll tell him, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of did a couple of heavier shows. You know, we had Amy Frank that it's out right now, and it's a really important show, but we're talking about military's response to sexual assault. And then she's a whistleblower, and now she's at risk of getting her credentials completely taken away. And Durden wrote her a very snarky letter.
They can do that?
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
They can do that to her, even though.
Oh, yeah. She went on CBS and she blew the whistle on the military. So they're stripping her victim advocate credentials, or they're trying to.
There's like
she's
crazy numbers on that, right? Like on the amount of sexual assault in the military right now. It's like ridiculous. It's
and
like
you know,
way
she
higher
had
than people
you
think.
had you know, soldiers she was advocating for.
Longer.
A couple of them committed suicide after the rapes, and you know, they weren't helped, and so she's helping their families. And it's a very serious issue in the military. It's, I guess there was one statistic that women soldiers are more likely to be raped than to be killed in combat.
Yeah.
You know.
Wow.
It's crazy.
I've been in that.
It's almost like we could have a whole hell of a lot smaller military as well, just to keep that number down a lot further, you know?
Wait, Reef, Stephanie, you said 4 times you've been in that situation? Wow.
Sexual assault.
It's rough.
I'm sorry.
Like,
oh, sorry.
It's okay. It was at 4, 12, 16, and then my ex-husband.
Oh,
that
I'm
sucks.
so sorry.
Oh, it's okay. It made me who I am today. It made me a lot stronger. Everything I've been through, it's made me stronger.
Well, you know.
Yeah, but don't you ever feel like saying, "Hey, I'm strong enough"?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? I do, but
Yeah.
I feel like I want to tell everyone I'm tired. I'm just tired. But my daughter, I have just too many people depending on me just being here.
Yeah.
Even alive. So I have to push through it, and can't let it, what someone did to me, ruin my life. I just can't let it happen.
Yeah,
doesn't define you.
Nope, it does not. What I do, only what I do defines me.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy how many women end up having to be involved in these situations, and like the amount of women who know an assaulter or whatever, and the amount of men who don't. You'd think those numbers would be a little higher, you know, and like, yeah, I mean, it's just, you know, it's such a hard thing to like, to find and deal with unless women come out and talk about it, which for a long time, that hasn't been the case, you know, because the society doesn't want you to, you know, so, you know,
well, not only
mad respect for Tara for doing that, and any woman who decides to do that, you know.
I mean, and you see like what happened with Time's Up, you know, where even the organizations that are supposed to be in your corner, that are supposed to be advocating for those rights, or even protecting the powerful, and actually kind of gatekeeping and doing catch and kill stories. I mean, Tara has one of the most famous stories, of course, of the decade so far about that out there. And
when it's like easy tweets that were easy
Lindsay
retweets
Boylan.
for me, like from Tara today, right, of Epstein and another individual, right, which to me, everyone should be retweeting and whatever, but I doubt you saw any numbers on that, like, you know, so
yeah, they're suppressing the hell out of that stuff.
Yeah.
The Maxwell
They're
trial, which is gross.
Everything.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, the Democrats, well, both parties do it, but the Democrats especially use the Me Too flag, like they protect women, and actually they're just protecting the predators. I think that, today while we were on the stream, actually, the victim advocate from New York that worked with the Komawo survivors just texted me the AG investigative report. So I have the whole thing so I can write my article.
Nice.
And there's there's text messages about my case, how they wanted to use it as an example of how to smear Lindsey Boylan.
Ooh.
Like how Cuomo and his people were talking about, do it like Biden shamed his accuser, and use those tactics.
Why?
It's so anyway,
because it needed done.
So I'm going to try to get, like, I have, like, it's in the report. I can send you the investigative report. It's public now. But the AG, uncovered all these text messages between Cuomo and some of the, power people that involved. And Anita Dunn and Bill and Joe Biden and Cuomo met actually at the White House about his case before Biden distanced himself.
Someone in the chat
And
wants
so
to
they
know,
were talking
Tara,
tactics.
if you see any similarities between how your case and this other case in Lewinsky was handled. Do you see any parallels with
Monica
that?
Lewinsky?
Yeah.
I mean, it was a different time period. There was an agenda to get Clinton impeached. It was a different, but I think, she was, the consent thing is a question because of how young she was and the power differential. And I think she's finally exploring that, but she's still really shit-libby. She's still really in the pocket of the Democrat elites. And I don't know why, because they ruined her life.
It's insane to me, though, that they're literally, now you have evidence that they're literally using the same playbook that they used with you, which was so effective, as if it's literally a play. Like and that's the importance of this, is like that. And it doesn't surprise me at all, but that's the slimiest shit I can think of. It means they go, okay, it worked, so let's do this same thing to other people.
Well, they did it with Rose McGowan. They do it with me.
Right. Oh my God.
Rome's got to work.
And not at all surprising, but just like, is nothing beyond these filthy assholes? Like what?
No,
you can't.
And like the Epstein case right now, you were mentioning before, you know why you're not seeing it? You're not seeing the long list, you're seeing the short list, but you know why you're not seeing it? Because David Boies and Lisa Bloom worked for Weinstein. Now they're representing the Epstein survivors. David Boies is friends with Epstein.
Yeah.
David Boies is the one who met with the Israeli prime minister and hired Black Cube, the Israeli spies, to go after Ronan Farrow and Rose McGowan and other journalists, and killed the New York Times story and the NBC story. David Boies is now the Epstein survivors attorney. We're never going to get the truth.
And didn't he also represent like Gore in the Gore v. Bush Supreme Court case? Wasn't he involved in that?
I don't know. He's represented some big cases, but what I'm saying is that he's friends with Epstein. He knew. So some of these people he's suppressing, and that's what they're talking about. And Lisa Bloom, of course, went after aggressively. She got exposed publicly with text messages of how to smear and discredit Rose McGowan. And
they also brought in
sending Israeli spies. I mean, holy shit.
Oh, well, it's like Rose has her door broken. She's got to worry about her house broken into. Like, you know.
So, and Ronan wrote it all out in his book Catch and Kill, and it's all right there. And so it's just funny that people aren't making the connection as they're watching the Epstein. Like, they're not looking at the lawyers and saying, wait a second, weren't you just representing Weinstein, and aren't you part of the elite club?
Well, and that was they brought in the psychologist, right? They brought in that psychologist who worked on Harvey's case too, right? That talked about like how false women memory. False memory, that they might not remember things correctly, and they can make up an entire story about 40 years. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, what?
And that's been already, like, false memory has already been disproven in medical journals, and I don't know.
And then Bloomberg gets to write.
It's overwhelming sometimes, the amount of like And you know, you sound like you don't want to sound like a conspiracy theory, but it's just all right there in front of us.
It's in front of everyone, and it's nothing's happened. It's like we know he
and
didn't.
It's not a theory. If
he's
the
on
dots are actually
suicide
being
watch,
connected.
it's like these so many dots right in front of everyone's face, like to the point where everyone knows what happened to some degree, that person was taken out, like whatever you want to, like I've not met anyone who thinks that he killed himself. Like,
no.
You know,
I think we all kind of
so
I
believe that that's what happened.
Before I quit construction, I was like working at like a small business, and I was drawing plans, like I was basically drawing electrical plugs, and then like one of the clients was like whoever owned the Epstein houses, like after Epstein, after he died.
Right.
I made like a bad joke at work. I was like, "Isn't this bad juju?" And then
Bad juju.
Everyone looked at me, and I just like knew it was like the end, like near the end of my job. It was like
it's like heaven knows what the hell went on behind these walls.
And then I was like, "Who's gonna go on site?" And
oh my goodness.
so awkward.
I would have been like, too soon?
Sorry.
Yeah.
You need like a cross and some holy water and
not enough sage. Not enough sage in the world, bro.
Nope.
I know, right?
Nope. So
That's
somebody
why
mentioned
I hate the corporate world, because like nobody laughed or anything. It was just like super awkward, you know, like muffled silence.
It's like, what did I say?
They were laughing.
I've been in those silences before. Like, was it me? Indy, you were saying?
So somebody in chat said that Katie Halper had a guy on last night who basically said the trial's all for show, and yeah, that's Garland Nixon.
Yeah,
Garland's awesome. She also had Kim Iverson on that stream.
Yeah,
I'm actually a mod for Katie's show. Been a fan of Katie's for quite a while. She does Useful Idiots with Matt Taibbi, of course, and she had Garland Nixon. They were talking about the Epstein trial and the Maxwell trial actually last night.
Yeah,
and a lot of this may be for show. Whitney Webb is also of the belief that they are using this to kind of sweep this under the rug, get her off on some kind of a minimal charge. You can see Bloomberg and their articles being written in some of the corporate media that's trying to kind of whitewash what she's done, or not call her a child predator, or not
call her a victim.
Yeah.
Right.
Bloomberg. Fuck, she is in insane goddamn
it's
prison.
Gross.
Yeah,
I thought the word
gross.
for it was like madame.
Yeah,
right, a madam, right? And they
right.
wouldn't let Virginia Giuffre, Roberts Giuffre, I believe, testify, but they or was it she got testified, but Maria Farmer, one of them did not get to testify. I know one of them is being represented by David Boies, which is really weird because why would these people have Epstein's confidants representing them when anybody could represent the victims? That definitely, Steve Wolfbrand dropped the Israeli M word, so I don't even want to use that word. That will definitely get you flagged on YouTube.
Yeah.
Everybody say hi to the NSA. Hi, NSA.
Oh, we say hi to our FBI.
I bring them wherever I go.
Oh, yes, hi. How many lists am I on at this point?
Look, my NSA handler Larry at least finds me funny, and that's all I can keep hoping for. As long as I can keep making him laugh, we should be okay. Like, you know,
that's my whole plan.
Just keep pressing that ignore
button. My plan is just to bore them to death.
Yeah, that'll work too. It's like, oh, she's talking about horses again. God, like, you know,
exactly.
Palominos this time. Like,
inauguration.
Exactly.
And our group, like, literally had a big, huge plan. Planned it. Occupy inauguration. And I swear, I know I'm on plenty of lists.
Oh yeah, we're all on
that.
I don't think there's anyone here that's not. So, you know, but
as long as I'm still on Santa's list,
right?
I have been a naughty girl this Santa.
I love how everyone's like, yes, Santa, he can definitely check all those lists and keep surveillance on every child while they're sleeping. Like, that's okay, apparently. You know,
and then you have the elf on the shelf. I've got little kids, Rob too.
Oh,
I'm sorry, Santa
Rob, do you do Elf on the Shelf?
Where would terrify me.
No, I don't.
Is that like Flat
I'm
Stanley?
in New York. I do Rat on the Shelf, and
There you go.
What's really funny is in our community, we don't do Elf on the Shelf, but we do the Mensch on the Bench, and I am not kidding.
The Mensch on the bench.
We have a
That's
Mensch on the bench,
hilarious.
okay, and he sits on our mantle, and his name is Herman. And
I still say the Santa Claus story's the creepiest thing you can think of. It is a fat, paunchy man who's flushed in the face, obviously, possibly from drinking. Because when you get drunk, your face is flushed. He watches you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. He knows when you've been bad or good. So basically, he is a peeping Tom who watches you all year round while you're awake and asleep to make sure you're behaving. And then you invite him into your home.
Epstein wishes he had reindeer, is what it sounds like.
Yeah, a complete stranger
Yeah.
into your home to give your children toys.
Did you guys ever hear about why the whole story about the original reindeer stuff, right? Like, it has to do with these mushroom ceremonies over there that, like, in the Scandinavian regions where we actually have reindeer, right, where Saint Nicholas comes from, right? It was the humans would eat these mushrooms and they'd enjoy them. And then the deer would actually come and, like, lick the urine of the humans, right? After they've ingested these mushrooms, like, and they would normally eat those mushrooms themselves, and they'd start tripping. And so it just becomes this, like, mythical legend over time of reindeers flying and stuff like that. It's
everybody was flying after that.
Yeah, that's
part of this.
That sounds like Bonnaroo. I went to the second one in Tennessee. There's people drinking, licking pee and getting stoned. Yeah, it was crazy.
I definitely saw elves at Burning Man, so they're definitely.
There was.
But
I could have been just like hallucinating in the back of a car somewhere. I mean, that's probably what
it's written. I think it's written in a book from the stoned ape theory. I don't know. I saw it on Rogan. Take that with a grain of salt, because Rogan was probably high when he listened to it. And well, that's cool, like. But
we says Saint Nick was actually from Turkey. Why did I think he was from
like
the
that.
Netherlands? I thought that was a Netherlands thing, but I could be wrong.
No, he's from Finland, I thought.
Oh, is it Finland? See, everybody gets a different story.
I think is this like the Bernstein Bears? Is that what it is?
I thought he was Ruski. I thought he was from
Ruski. He's the Russian bear.
How are we not talking about, like, if he is Russian, you'd think all the liberals would be like, "Oh no, Santa's coming!" Like,
well, he's wearing he's wearing all red.
Santa is Russian because he's always in a hurry around
cooperative
the world.
gifts. He's just like
giving
back, shares the wealth. Like, dude, Santa's a commie as shit.
He's
like
total communist.
He wears a red suit.
Yeah,
he wears a red suit.
He wears red. That's right. And he flies around. I don't know. Does he pay for gas? I don't know if
I don't know. Rachel Maddow will do a special on it though.
Do you think the elves
right? She'll do a special on his taxes.
He's got a GoFundMe.
Yeah,
his reindeer require mushrooms.
Probably. A lot
Not
of hay.
glitter.
Like, I'm just wondering. I'm wondering if the elves like have seized the means of production. That's what I'm wondering. Are they all part of the working proletariat, the elves, and they just have him as the figurehead? I don't know. I'm ready to see that like Christmas movie.
Seems like a lot of top down, doesn't it?
Yeah, Hallmark needs to do that one. That's the one I want to see. So we'll get Jerry on it. Jerry put a Christmas movie on Jerry Vassiat's Chicago Corner. He's got a Christmas movie on Hallmark, so we'll get him to do Commie Santa. I'm down.
I think Santa is like he's the dictatorial face so that they can have their commune without the United States invading the North Pole and bringing democracy.
Yeah.
That's
authoritarian. You will obey me, and I will be the benevolent dictator who will give out the gifts one day per year.
One day per year.
You're gonna bring democracy to the North
Pole and be good. By the way, Nicole says she's getting a restraining order against Santa.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But she doesn't want him sneaking into her house at night.
Yeah, you got to seal that chimney off. We sealed ours off. We're done. We got the gas fireplace. So
I do.
Yeah, start
I do
a-
want to see one of your
keep the light
people with
up.
like with Christmas. You know, you got the people that shove a bunch of lights out there. I want like the Jewish people to do the same, just to like have giant menorahs in their front yard and like snow
Hanukkah right now.
yarmulkes. Yeah,
If we do that,
like
we
we
do
have the
that.
Keep
inflatable
the fire
menorah.
burning
Right.
all night long for Santa.
So many Hanukkah decorations. Stop.
yeah.
Absolutely. Go to the dollar store. You get up a light of menorah. Come on.
You got
No,
the
we got it.
mezuzah on the door. Like, yeah, just do it up.
My house is full
Fredo.
of dollar store Hanukkah accessories and decorations because I
Yes.
have little kids and my
Yeah.
wife
know,
loves
I'm
to
not
get
a fan.
festive for the holiday.
I live on myself with my kitty cat, so I'm not as big on
Right.
decorating and
You
stuff
don't
like
you
that.
don't dress your cats up? I dress my cats up.
I would hate me.
My cat would murder me. Yeah, he'd wait till I went to bed, and then he just
I have a
sliced my
little
throat in the middle
Santa
of the
hat
night.
for my horse even. In fact,
Oh.
just because you brought up horses, I'll send you a picture of Charm in a Santa
Nice.
hat.
I saw
Oh,
a
yeah.
video the other
gosh.
day, and I thought of
I'm
you
gonna
when I
get
saw
one
it.
for Casper.
It was a horse, and they took him to the beach or whatever, and he was going through like the soft sand, and he was like, "No, get this shit off my feet. Don't like it." Like, and then he makes it to like the hard sand, like at the front. It's just like, "Oh, I like this," and then takes off. Like, and they somehow keep up with it. It's just like, what are you? And it was just crazy. Horses are ridiculous
That's like
animals.
me. That's
Like-
Charm, yeah, my
African
horses.
debate.
Katie
That's
Halper
African
was doing
debate.
that show on COVID or something. So I
Yeah.
sent her a picture of my horse with ivermectin,
Nice.
and she posted it.
Should be covered. Well, it's like that new stuff, Merck, right? Like that's supposedly
Right.
ivermectin plus a few things, right? So that they can sell
Right.
it for more. I just want to see someone do like veterinary trials on that and see if it stops like horse worms. I'm betting it'll do pretty well
Right?
if I'm not mistaken.
You
know.
mean Merck is selling a horse dewormer? No.
Yeah, right. That
I-
might be that.
Good with my booster and my shit.
Yeah,
Going on.
I'm double vaxxed up now, so I should be good.
Yeah,
as
I'm
long as I get,
double. I'm doubled.
as long as I
I'm
can
due
get
for
like
the booster.
Tripled.
I got mine at the end of June, so they say it lasts like 6 months, so I'll probably
yeah.
we'll see what happens with the booster
Man,
and
you-
with our Omicron.
Omicron Persei.
Omicron.
Omicron. It sounds like a Decepticon or a
It's-
Yeah,
Cobot.
it does.
You know
Sounds
who's
like
a
a music
Decepticon?
festival.
Gobot.
Anthony Fauci is a Decepticon.
You didn't know what it was.
Is either that or a
Is it
lizard
something
person.
you want to attend Omicron? Oh, that sounds like I want to go to that. Like, it's gonna be
Omicron.
plain.
Yeah.
Omicron sounds like it could be a
What
nice
is
conference.
Biden called it? Omnicron?
Omnicron.
Yeah.
You call it
Omicron
Omni, yeah,
2020.
He's not too good at
Omnicron
reading.
2020. Dun, 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 yeah.
33033 Omicron. Yeah.
I mean, he's confusing it with the Necronomicon. He gets real
He's doing
fuzzy these
the thing.
days.
Necrophilia.
Necro
what?
Omnicron, yeah.
That exists either.
The
I think I said like
Necronomicon.
3 different words that could get this shut down at least on 3 different platforms.
Oh no, that's
Absolutely.
why we're
That's
on
all right.
Rumble and
That's
Odyssey
right. That's
and
right.
yeah.
We're on Rocket
Yeah.
and Odyssey. They're not
I'll-
shutting us down. Martin Floriani is good.
I'll give it to
people.
Lee Camp. He'll put it in a VHS and send it to people. Like we'll get it out. Like
VHS.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, but we can do laser disc if that people are more comfortable
There
with
you
that.
go, laser disc.
I don't have
But
I don't
Has a
Betamax if people still have one of
Betamax.
those.
There you go. Sony
Like,
Betamax.
Those
Yeah.
were the days.
I'll
That's
put it.
old
Remember,
school.
I remember my dad had an eight. What is it? An
Eight track.
Eight-track.
Eight track. Yeah, you can get them.
His
You can
car.
take them up and get them reversed at the store, right? You can go get them to put the
Oh.
pencil in for you and turn that cassette back.
I don't know. I was only 4.
Yeah,
My text.
yeah. I'm
My sister had an 8-track in her 78 Chevette.
nice.
Yes, Hulk Hogan is a little old.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Yeah, no.
Older than you even.
That's right.
Like,
That's right.
You
Yeah.
I
definitely
think
look a
I'm
lot
I'm
younger.
with Uncle Warren, yeah, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
We're in the same, we're contemporaries.
Nice.
Right.
Yeah,
OGs
there are
in the
some
house,
Gen
baby.
Xers.
Y'all are the millennials of the group, right?
We're the Gen Xers. Come on, come on, come on.
We
We're
call
the
it
Gen
Gen
Xers.
Sexy.
I am
We
old
cover the-
enough
we cover the
to
whole
remember how
spectrum.
I
terrible
don't
you
like
guys
to
were
call
in
it
high
that.
school. That's what
What
I'm old
would be
enough to be.
44?
You know, so
That's like borderline Gen X millennial, like, or Gen Y even. I think
Yeah,
that's
I'm-
like you're like my brother's age.
I'm the
Okay,
baby
so
face
is that
of
why-
93.
65 to 80. 65 to 80. So if you're in there, you're a Gen X, and you're
Well,
probably
that and you're
miserable.
cool. That
Yeah.
that
I'm
and that you're
only
cool.
You're very
45.
miserable. You're
Like
very.
I was old enough to have George W. Bush show up to my school and read me a story. It wasn't my school, but I would have been old enough. Like, you know, like
My
Jeb,
pet goat.
Jeb was near my neck of the woods, so you know,
You poor
so
thing.
yeah, Florida loves to give terrible politicians, so that's what we're known for: gators, meth, and terrible politics. That's what we got here.
Oh, Florida.
So, yeah,
And
that's
crappy
our
NFL
sports.
quarterbacks too. They're great
Yep.
in college, but once they get to the pros,
Dude, I
Tim
don't even
Tebow.
want to talk about that guy.
Yeah.
That guy took 4 years of my life that I can't get back. I'm good. You know.
look, I'm
Yeah.
a Saints fan. We had a couple of Florida quarterbacks, and they suck.
Yeah,
Oh my
especially in
God, I
Florida.
could have done better.
You need Florida
On my
State.
couch.
That's what you need.
Wisconsin, and I'm
Yeah.
I'm a Packer fan, and I
I'm
love
so
Aaron
sorry.
Rodgers. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers is a really good QB.
The
is.
Packs.
I'm
But
a cheesehead.
I'll just take the
Oh,
cheese curds. You
Be
can
a
just send me
Patriots
those.
fan.
Those are amazing.
Oh, the
I
squeaky is
The
the
Squeaky
best.
squeaky cheese,
Football
the
long
squeaky
time ago.
cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
Yeah.
and you know what they do, and I got to do the accent. Oh, well, you know, you got to come over
Oh,
here
you
and have
betcha,
them deep
yeah.
fried.
Oh,
And
it's
then
so
you gotta have
good,
the
you
deep
know.
fried, don't you
It's
know?
it's one of
Correct.
the
Deep fried,
it's,
don't you know?
it's like
That's-
over there.
That's pretty good, Tar.
It's kind of
I got
like
some.
all my friends are
I got
from
some
Minnesota. It's kind of the same, but it's not quite. You know, you gotta go. You go sit on the
Yeah.
Davenport over there. You know.
Yeah, and they
Like,
go
oh, you
watch the
betcha.
Bears. They're gonna watch
The
the Bears and the Bears.
Yeah.
First.
The
They're gonna go up to Thunder Bay up in Canada and go get some of that
Thunder
triple
Bay,
back.
Thunder
Oh.
Bay, nice.
Thunder
Yeah.
Bay.
Thunder. I love the little
Minnesota
differences
people.
in
They
there.
drink like nothing. Like there's no alcohol left on the planet. You know what I mean? That's one guy I knew. He made this homebrew. I swear it was liquor. I said, "How much? What is the alcohol content?" He said, "Oh, there might be some beer in there, but it's mostly alcohol."
yeah.
And it was just like they was drinking it like, yeah, you know. And I think I time traveled. I don't know where the hell I
You
was after I
time
drank some of that
traveled.
shit. It was crazy. Yeah, they don't play up there. That's some good
Yeah.
people.
I mean, they
up there.
ice fish.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Who
we'll go-
ice fishes?
There's a
You
great
can't be with
Fish is
those people
sober
unless you
is the
have
real
like
question.
Viking
there was a
blood.
great
No.
episode of
I wouldn't ice fish sober. That's crazy.
the Jimmy Dore
I
show.
wouldn't.
The Jimmy Dore show had on like CNN went to like one of those like where everyone's ice fishing. They like showed up, like CNN showed up. Like no one wants you there, CNN. Nobody. Right? It was like CNN or MSNBC. It was like one of those, and they show up and they start like, "You guys want to talk politics? No! We're here
Ice
fishing."
fishing.
Right. We're half drunk and like whatever, and like there's I'll try to find it and send it to you guys, the one that Jimmy pulled, because it was like they talked to a guy and he was like the most normal dude, and he's like, "Yeah, both of them suck. All right, I'm gonna go back to fish now. Goodbye."
I gotta go back.
I gotta go back.
I
you
got a
know?
case of Leinenkugel in the back.
I went to Cub Foods. I went to Cub Foods and I got me some brewskis, and we're out here. I haven't caught no whirler all day. You know, whirler. That's the one that gets me. It's like, say it right, please. It's a walleye. Walleye. Enunciate.
Whirler.
Yeah.
No, it's a whirler.
Whirler.
Anyway, y'all, I gotta get going. I'm sorry. I
Yes,
gotta
sir.
Go
All right, yeah, we're
my
we're-
family.
Namaste,
As much as I would love
friend.
this, yeah, as long as
We're gonna
I,
do
as-
this more. We're
You
gonna
and
do
your
this more.
family.
As much as
Yeah.
I would love to sit around and get canceled and talk about reindeers tripping and
Yep.
Santa doing shrooms and ice fishing and stuff, you know, I got shit to do.
You better get your priorities straight,
I'm just
mister.
saying, Warren's got to clip it
Come
up.
on,
so
Be
you
man.
gotta
talking. Hey,
remember.
next week.
Dude,
Next
you're
week
going
we're
an
gonna be
extra
talking about
booyah.
Reade. You're
You're
getting high, mister. So
You
be
gotta
prepared.
remember.
Wait
You're
till, wait till we
getting
play
Yeah.
Cards Against Humanity all as a group.
Oh,
I
we
love
can
that.
do
I
that.
love
Oh my God,
That
that's a
would
we
great
can
be
do
idea.
that.
That's
But
fine.
I love you guys. I got to get going.
All right.
I'll talk to you later.
Right.
Hey, I have
Night
to
Nicole
actually
in the
cut
chat.
out
Good night,
too because I have to
everyone.
write an article. So
Yeah,
I gotta
okay.
Tara.
jam.
See you,
Let's,
Rob. See you,
okay,
Tara.
well then I'll just tell everyone subscribe. Go to indienews.network and you'll find all the links to the channels for Indie News Network.
Yep.
Subscribe to tarareade.substack.com. Subscribe to Millennialsplaining on audioanchor.com. Subscribe to Blue Moon Red Wine on Twitch and on YouTube both. And Extra Booyah on Odyssey and on YouTube, and of course Extra Booyah on Twitter. He's hilarious. Steph, how do we find you on Twitter?
Twitter.
Steph
I think it's
underscore,
Steph
right?
42.
Steph 42. Okay.
I
And then
think that's
at
what
Reef
it would be.
Freeland.
Yep.
Yep.
REEF
And do you have-
BRELAND. Yes, sir.
And Stephanie, do you have a channel yet for YouTube, or where else can people find you? No.
No, not yet. I'm just getting out on my own, and
That's
To
where the
be
devil
continued.
I'm
lives.
starting to work with KR.
KRTD.
TD.
Yeah, go shout out to them. Go
KRTD.
watch
So yeah,
them.
check out Steph on KRTD News on Friday night.
Yep.
Definitely check that out. And we've got Extra Booyah on Indie News Network tomorrow night at 7.
We're also
PM
on Rumble
Eastern.
too. We're
and
we're
he's
on
on
Rumble.
Rumble.
As well too.
The
So,
uploads
Nice.
are going to Rumble afterwards, not
Okay.
live, right? Because you got to pay money to be live on Rumble. And
Yeah.
then Friday night we got Reefer After Dark, and he'll be smoking weed with Angel
Yep.
Rivera on Friday night at 10.
And next
Saturday
weekend,
night, midnight.
next Friday,
we've got-
Misty from Pitch is coming
Nice.
on.
Combat
That'll
Misty.
be super fun.
Misty, yay.
Yeah.
Yay, we love Misty.
she's good peoples.
Yes, sir.
And then-
So,
Yeah,
Tomorrow
Uncle Warren, I'll have
Saturday-
to go on your show sometime. You'll have to come on mine. We'll trade.
I'm down.
We'll talk about ice fishing. We'll complete that conversation.
Oh, the amount of
Well-
times it's super fun watching. They just build a house there. It's like, okay, we're just gonna have
Yeah.
a house and we fish.
A lean-to.
Yeah.
well,
Tara,
if
you can come on the show and we'll
Well,
talk about 8
mhm.
tracks in the end of the disco era.
There you go.
that-
Thank you.
I'm sure
A
that we
contemporary.
can educate these young ones.
That's right. We'll bring them along with us.
Yeah.
Come on a journey with us.
Everybody. And
And
Good night.
and how do we and everybody check out How Do We Miss That Saturday nights too. That's the other thing I wanted to plug. And then
Yeah.
we'll come back. We'll do another network stream like this. It's a great time. I love doing this. And
Yeah,
It was
this is super
fun.
fun.
And then we
It
still
was.
got Darryl from Black in the Empire. We still got Kobi. We're gonna do a daytime stream that'll get people that are more into that stream more in the day. Like I know Luci does a lot of day stuff as well, so that'll accommodate a different audience as well. So that'll be
Yeah.
a lot of fun. We'll have a lot of new stuff coming up. So thank you everybody for hanging out in chat. Steve Wolfbrandt, you've been with us the whole time. Gamer for life. Everyone
Yeah.
who's there, thank you so much. Have a
Fam's
good
been
night.
here. Good night,
Thanks,
Wait a
guys.
everyone.
Night,
second.
everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Stephen Rembrandt or Wolfbrandt? What? Wait,
Mhm.
what?
Wolfbrandt,
Wolfbrandt.
not Rembrandt. Wolf.
I pulled everyone.